Welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Morgan. Today's episode is all about 5 signs that you have experienced chronic relational trauma. And this episode has been on my heart because I've had some people in my life who are close to me who are waking up to the fact that they've been in unhealthy relationships and that they've been experiencing chronic relational trauma. And I just think it's so important to identify the signs because sometimes you can be in something and you don't even realize it. And it really takes hearing it from someone else and having it laid out. So this is for you. Maybe you're not really sure what's going on. Maybe you are having unhealthy relationships. You've been kind of disillusioned in your love life. Maybe you've given up on ever finding someone. But I think this episode is just going to be really, really helpful so that you can know the signs of relational trauma. I do want to tell you something really special. Today is the day, for the first time ever, I am launching a private podcast. I've never done this before, but this is your opportunity. If you like the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast, this is your opportunity to go even deeper. And I have really poured my heart and soul and so much time into making this a very valuable learning experience for you. It's experiential. It's not just something you listen to. And the private podcast is called Secure.Soft.Magnetic. Really feel strongly about that title because that's what we all want. We want to be able to show up securely attached. We want to be able to be soft, right? To let our walls down, to stop being in fight or flight mode, to stop protecting all the time. And then obviously magnetic because you deserve to magnetically attract the love that feels good and safe and all the things that you've wanted. So this private podcast is 6 episodes that go deeper, that really help you understand attachment styles in a really deep way, understanding subconscious reprogramming. And there's just so much goodness in here. I could go on and on, but this is the first time I've done this and it's only $27. It's $27. So all you have to do, go to the link in the show notes. I don't know how long I'll be doing this for. Like I said, it's something new, but I just wanted to offer something to this community. If you love the show, maybe you've wanted to work with me, but you've been on the fence about it. This is a wonderful next step. This is really going to help you. So go grab it. It's the link in the show notes. It takes 2 seconds to sign up. And I just know you're going to get so much value out of it. And I can't wait to hear from you as you're going through it. All right, moving on. Today's episode, we're talking about those 5 signs that you have experienced chronic relational trauma. I have this question for you. Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you've tried, no matter what you've done in terms of maybe you've read all the books, you're listening to all the podcasts, no matter what you've learned, that for whatever reasons, relationships just feel hard or they just feel like they keep causing you pain? And here's the deal, even someone who is high functioning, maybe they look like they have it all together career-wise, maybe even their friendships look great. You can have this amazing life, but for whatever reason, still be really suffering in your relationships, whether it's your romantic relationships, family, or even friends as well. It doesn't matter what you've quote unquote achieved. Chronic relational trauma will impact your ability to have healthy, loving, emotionally safe, energy giving relationships. So this obviously can impact anyone. I don't care whoever you are. It doesn't matter how successful, quote unquote, you are, what your life looks like. You can be experiencing chronic relational trauma. So what does that even mean? It means that it's chronic because it's not that you've had one incident or there was maybe even just one relationship in your life where you were let down, where you experienced pain, where maybe you were even emotionally abused or emotionally invalidated over and over again. It's not just about one thing that happened, but it's about relational trauma that continued to happen. Emotional injuries, attachment wounds, betrayal, instability, chaos. If you've experienced these things, that then has left your nervous system and your attachment system on high alert, right? And you're constantly looking at relationships through the lens of, is this going to hurt me? Okay. And when it's chronic, this is something that you've experienced over and over and over again. As I'm talking about this, I know that I spent such a large part of my life, probably all the way up to my early 30s, with the chronic relational trauma that I had experienced really running the show. Right. And let's talk about, what are the signs? So now that we kind of understand it, moving on, sign number 1, if you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, how many of you know this to be true? Even if things seem like they're okay, your body doesn't feel okay. Your body doesn't feel emotionally safe. You have associated intimacy, you've associated relationships with instability, and you have this feeling that the only way to try to keep the relationship or to make it work is if you show up with hypervigilance, if you show up trying to predict, trying to control, right? So that's why you get that feeling. It's this coping mechanism of you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Your nervous system, once again, it's in hypervigilance. This can look like you're analyzing all of your texts. Okay, how many of you do that? Where maybe now you're using AI, you're putting all your texts in ChatGPT, you're worrying about every single word that you use. You're like, should I use that emoji or not? Right? If you are just feeling like you can't relax in love, and you are in this place of just even predicting how things are going to go wrong. Maybe you're having dreams, like you start dating someone new, and then you start having these dreams about all of the ways that the relationship is going to go wrong. And a lot of times, this sign, it leads to you sabotaging the connection before the other person can hurt you, because you get so worked up, so controlling, so overanalyzing that you'll even sabotage the connection. All right, what is the second sign? Sign number 2 is that you might be feeling emotionally numb, or maybe your feelings are completely out of control. They're spiraling and it's too much. So whether you're feeling no emotions or you're feeling way too many emotions, right? Your nervous system, if it doesn't feel safe, if you don't feel emotionally safe, if you can't regulate your emotions, if you don't trust yourself to regulate your emotions, right? Then you are going to be easily overwhelmed by even the smallest triggers. So this can look like not feeling your feelings, completely numbing out, distracting yourself, right? Maybe based on chronic relational trauma, maybe you learned that when you felt your feelings, it actually did you zero good to express them. So then you just learn to disconnect from your feelings. You learn to repress them, right? So you might have learned at some point that feelings aren't helpful. Feelings actually can cause us danger, because if we express them, we might get feedback that it's invalid, that we shouldn't express ourselves. So feelings can actually be connected in your brain to something that is dangerous, right? That could lead to potential abandonment. So of course, what is this going to do? You're going to end up feeling emotionally numb, or once again, you can get into that place where you have deep dysregulation and maybe you don't feel things, but then all of a sudden you have these huge emotional responses where everything's coming out sideways. So if you don't have that nervous system that is calm and regulated, where you can actually feel your feelings, then that's definitely a sign that you've had chronic relational trauma. Sign number 3, this is important. I so relate to this. Okay, you're always tired. This was me. No matter what I did, when I had so much unhealed trauma, I was always tired, right? And it's almost this emotional tiredness, physical tiredness. It can even feel like a spiritual tiredness where no matter what you do, you feel like you can't rest. You feel like even if you were to sleep 10 hours, you would still wake up and feel tired, right? Your body, your nervous system, you're burnt out from people pleasing, from fawning, from walking on eggshells, from being in that fight, flight, freeze state. right? And I think that this gets normalized a lot because we just kind of we go, oh, that's kind of how we just feel, right? We're like, yeah, we have so many responsibilities. We have so much going on in our lives. Like maybe we're just going to always feel tired. But I want you to know this: when you have secure attachment in your life, you have a regulated nervous system, when you have relationships that support you, that add value to your life, that give you energy, you're not always going to feel tired. Of course, maybe you will be tired sometimes, but it's not going to be this exhaustion, right? This burnout of not feeling like you can be excited about life or you're like you don't have any energy. There's a huge difference there. So I want you to think about this. When was the last time that you were able to feel fully relaxed, fully yourself, and where you got your energy battery, where you got that refilled, where you left someone's presence feeling filled up and like you were given and you were able to feel truly relaxed? How many relationships like that do you have in your life? I would ask you that. Sign number 4, this one's tough. I'm going to call some of you out, okay? You may have experienced chronic relational trauma if you've built a life that looks good, but it actually feels empty. Maybe you built a very successful life. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's, I'm trying to think, maybe it's physically. Some people, that's one of the ways that they want to look good, their physical appearance. But you've built this life and it just like looks really good on the outside. But then when you are coming home and you are alone in your home or your apartment, you realize it feels empty. Everybody in your life says, you're amazing, you're doing great. But on the inside, you are feeling disconnected. You're feeling poor when it comes to your relationships, right? Here's what I know. Some of the most successful people are actually the loneliest. Success can be a shield. Not always, okay? You can have so much success and then you can also have so much love and connection in your life. But I want to be careful. People are not getting that confused. You get to have both. It's just that sometimes people use success as a shield, as a way to keep people at arm's length, as a way to almost justify lack of closeness, lack of intimacy. And a lot of people find themselves overworking, particularly my avoidantly attached folks, overworking, building things to make themselves feel very, very successful. And it's actually a way to avoid feeling the feelings, to avoid the desire for connection, right? And sometimes this result of building a life that looks good but feels emotionally empty, sometimes it's also the result of somewhere along the way you learned, okay, if I am very, very successful, then I'll be good enough. So you may have also attached this belief of, I have to be successful, quote unquote, whatever that means, to be good enough. But it's a moving target, right? Like you never feel like you're enough or you never feel like you're actually successful enough. So if you got that message at a young age, you may be disconnected, right? Like the relational trauma that you experienced maybe was you internalizing the belief that you had to achieve certain things, you had to have your life look a certain way, and that then you'd be worthy of love. But once again, it's a moving target, right? Success doesn't define our worthiness of love and connection, right? But a lot of us, if we had early beliefs, early messaging about that, then you might find yourself constantly moving on that moving target of once I'm X success, X amount of successful, then I'll be worthy of love. All right. What's the final sign? And this connects to what I was just talking about. And this is on a subconscious level for so many of you listening. So I want you to just open your mind to this. Maybe you're not even aware of it. But the 5th sign is that on some level, you don't believe that you're lovable as you are right now. So you, at some point, based on the relational trauma you experienced, you internalize the lie that you had to earn love, that you had to change something about you. What would that be? Be honest. Is there a belief? Is it a sneaky belief maybe you're not aware of? right? And I think the other thing to realize about this is that oftentimes, if we have internalized this, that we don't believe that we're lovable, we are very, very good at picking people who are emotionally unavailable, who can't fully see us. Because remember, if I think I'm unlovable, I am terrified of someone who actually could see me fully, who could actually meet me very deeply. I am terrified of that. So I'm going to be attracted to emotionally unavailable partners because that's what feels comfortable for my nervous system and my attachment system. Okay. So you're terrified deep down that people will leave if they see the real you. So then you're picking people that don't have capacity to really love you fully, that don't have the capacity to be emotionally available and see the real you. And another sign here that falls in the same category is you're struggling with showing up as your full self, right? If I don't have high self-worth, if I don't think I'm lovable, then I'm not going to be able to set boundaries. I'm not going to be able to communicate what my needs and wants and desires are. I'm going to be self-abandoning. I'm going to be doing whatever I think it takes to maintain the relationship. Okay. Because you are fearing abandonment more than you're fearing not being authentic, right? Not being able to express yourself, right? Abandonment becomes your greatest fear. So anything else you start to learn to just put up with. So these 5 signs, let's go over them one more time. I wonder how many of them you related to, maybe 1 or 2, maybe all of them. If it's all of them, don't worry. I am sending you so much love and I want you to know it's so possible to heal. Let's review these signs. Number 1, you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? You're constantly predicting how the relationship's going to end. The second sign, you might be feeling emotionally numb, or you might be having these big emotional spirals. Either way, you're not able to regulate your emotions. You have a dysregulated nervous system. Number 3, you're always tired emotionally, physically, spiritually, right? Your nervous system never gets to actually rest. Even if you're sleeping or you're trying to quote unquote rest, your body is not actually resting, right? You're in fight, flight, or freeze constantly, and you're burnt out from all the people pleasing and walking on eggshells. And then number 4, I talked about, this is a tricky one. This one kind of hits people pretty hard, but you've spent a lot of time building a life that actually looks good, but it feels empty. So maybe you've been very successful in many ways, but you don't have that deep emotional connection. And then number 5, you don't believe that you're lovable as you are right now. So these are the signs. Did you relate to any of them? I want you to know this. You're not too broken. It's never too late to become securely attached. Okay. Everything we talked about can be healed. Your nervous system can become calm and regulated. You can develop secure attachment. You can learn to let emotionally available love into your life. Secure attachment is not something that is never going to happen for you. It's something you can completely learn how to do. So I want to encourage you, once again, I mentioned this at the beginning. If you're like, whoa, this episode really spoke to me, I need to take this more deeply. What can I actually do now that I know I've experienced chronic relational trauma? I want you to go get this private podcast. It's $27. Okay. It is a deep dive into applying the understanding of attachment styles to your relationships. It's also going to help you with subconscious beliefs. It's going to help you with embodying secure attachment. This is a no-brainer. Okay. Go grab it. And obviously, if you liked this episode, if you feel like you have a friend that needs it, maybe you know someone in your life that's going through something tough. Maybe they're going through a breakup. Maybe they're in a marriage that's really struggling. I am always, man, I'm never going to be short of a job, y'all. I mean, I am always blown away by how many people are struggling in their relationships. Okay. Even people that seem like they have the perfect relationship. Maybe you see their pictures on social media and it's all, shout outs to their partner and trips to the Bahamas together. Y'all, there are so many people that are struggling that are in relationships. So even if that's you, I want you to know that You don't have to figure out, okay, do I stay or do I go? That's actually not the place to start if you're struggling in your relationship. The place to start is, how can I meet myself where I'm at? Can I work on becoming the most securely attached, high self-worth, my highest and best version of me? And then I'm going to automatically know what to do in the relationship, right? When you start healing, making the relationship decision actually gets to be easy. So start with you. Okay. Go grab that private podcast. I put so much work into it. I think you're really going to love it. It's a lovely deep dive. And of course, once again, if you like the podcast, Let's Get Vulnerable, you're going to love this. So go grab it. Link is in the show notes. I'm sending you so much love. I am cheering you on. And of course, as always, I'm wishing you high self-worth and great relationships.